Chapter 1. I awoke as all heroes do, heavily burdened. No, I wasn't stressed. I was literally under stress, as in I had to dig my way out from under my brother's 4 bazillion-pound leg, the bed hog. I gave Sammy a few shoves. Hey, move. I can't feel my legs. He snored on, leaving me to push and squirm my way to freedom. As I set my feet gingerly on the rug and started the process of wiggling my feet and toes to get rid of the pins and needles, I swore to myself I was going to sleep on the floor after this. I was 15 for crying out loud. The guy needs his own bed. Once everything was fully functional again, I hopped up and only slowed long enough to throw on some cleanish-smelling clothes, use the bathroom, and put on some deodorant. Then I swiped my phone and wallet from the table and headed out. I took a deep breath of fresh, smog-late June air. A world filled with possibilities. Yesterday had been a long day, but a good one, which always left me energized and ready to do it all again. My brother, however, responded in the opposite way. He'd sleep the morning away and maybe the afternoon, too. My stomach complained as it often did. A lot had changed in my life over the past couple of years. One of the more recent changes was a metabolism that burned fuel like a jet engine. There weren't many food options available nearby at this time of day, and I didn't feel like another breakfast at the greasy diner a quarter-mile up the road, so I set to wandering the streets on a hunt for something more satisfying. I popped in my earbuds and became just another small, pale, dark-haired boy lost in his own world, singing along with his favorite songs. I loved walking. I walked or ran everywhere I could, whenever I could, stretching my legs, using my muscles, sending blood rushing through my veins with purpose felt wonderful. There was something remarkably freeing about exercising that made me happy. Perhaps some of that had to do with the way I had spent my childhood, but I couldn't imagine this feeling ever getting old. On this particular day, I was also looking forward to the solo nature of my urban stroll. Normally my brother would be at my side, but he was a lot older than me and tended to be cautious and, well, boring. So it was refreshing to be out from under his shadow and free to explore the city while he snored away the morning in our cupboard-sized apartment. Also, I am a considerate brother. It was as much to his benefit as it was to mine for me to be out here alone, because the truth was he really didn't appreciate my singing. Either that or he was embarrassed by it in public. Or was he just jealous of my incredible vocal talents? No, not that. Even I knew I couldn't sing. Luckily for me, I didn't get embarrassed easily. I was just fine with adding to the noise pollution problem. While I was looking for somewhere to get breakfast and being considerate of my brother's sensitive ears, trouble reached out, demanding my attention. Not by phone or singing telegram or blimp trailing a banner, but by sticking giant invisible fishhooks into my brain and tugging. The sensation brought me up to an abrupt stop on a crooked slab of sidewalk. It didn't hurt, these mental fishhooks, but just because they didn't hurt didn't mean I could ignore them. Doing so would have been a bit like hearing a car horn blaring, tires screeching, and not turning around to watch the accident unfold. Plus, because I had experienced these before, I knew not to try. Time and time again I'd had to watch things go bad while being helpless to stop them. So now that I was no longer helpless, I was all the more determined to do what I could now that I possessed the ability to do so. Less than 24 hours ago, trouble had led my brother and me to a construction site in time to watch half the building collapse. We managed to pull 5 people out of the wreckage, at least one of whom would have died before the emergency services arrived had Sammy not been proficient in first aid. These warnings, these premonitions, had been occurring as long as I could remember, but in the past they lacked the power they now possessed. They had also come far less frequently, and maybe that was by design. Back then there had been little or nothing I could have done to aid anyone. Now things were different. Now I could act. And I admit it, I enjoyed it a lot. Maybe Sam was right to claim I was addicted to trouble. But, man, trouble made me feel so alive. My brother could continue to catch up on his beauty sleep while I took care of business. He would be mad when he woke up and discovered he had slept right through all the fun, but he'd get over it when he saw that I could handle things. He'd been having a rough go of it lately, so the least I could do was to give him a day off, despite his usual insistence that I do nothing heroic. Okay, his word choice might have been stupid without him. I swiveled in place while my excitement grew, trying to pull in more information out of Trouble's call. Was something happening here, or was there somewhere else I needed to be? Was it happening now, or did I have a little time? Today the pull was exceptionally sharp. It directed me with a stronger sense of urgency than it had the last few times, but it also felt distant. My compass needle steadied. I knew which way I had to go. I smiled as I broke off into a run toward the heart of downtown Foundation City. As I ran, I switched my playlist from the most beautiful, skillful, soulful voice on the planet to the one titled Epic. Minutes passed as I followed Trouble's leading. The buildings grew bigger and cleaner, and the sidewalks busier. The streets, too. I received more than a few dirty looks as I brushed past people without wasting breath on apologies. Truth was, I hardly noticed them. After 15 minutes or so, I could feel that the source of the call was close. I had a decent sweat going and a satisfying burn in my legs as I paused to examine my surroundings. A car park took up half the block I was on. Nope, that wasn't what was drawing me in. The Toys and Tech high-rise next door wasn't it either. Across the street, a giant structure of glass and steel stretched high and pretentiously doomy above me. It seemed to suck in the morning sun, light, and banish it. An expensive marble sign stood by the sidewalk, naming the tower simply The Tower. I wondered what creative genius had come up with that name. I recognized the building, however, and recalled the other name used for it, the Black Sun. Not only was the circular building constructed of dark material, but its design included a lot of triangular projections, giving it a distinctive shape. When the crossing sign lit up, I moved with a dozen or so other pedestrians to the far side of the street. I had to circle half the block before I found what I took to be the building's front entrance. A 30-something man in an expensive business suit curled his lip as he glanced my way before heading for the doors, a $5 coffee in one hand and a briefcase in the other. I tried to flatten my bed hair. It mostly cooperated, thanks to my all-natural, exercise-induced hair product, the unenlightened referred to as perspiration. I wiped my face dry with the hem of my t-shirt, dried my hands on my jeans, put on my friendliest grin, and strode inside like I owned the place. People will let you go anywhere so long as you act as though you belong, right? 2 steps through the main entrance, I passed through a metal detector that apparently discriminated against phones, and subsequently found a palm planted against my chest. I looked up and found the owner of the hand, a dark-skinned, gray-haired security guard, looking back with an implacable expression. His lips moved, but I couldn't make out the words. I removed my earbuds and held my phone out at arm's length as he magic wanded me. "Huh?" I asked politely. "Where are you going?" he inquired, sounding bored. "Good question." "Up?" I said. "Up." "Yep, up," I responded, this time with confidence. He sighed. "Why do I get the feeling you shouldn't be here?" he asked. He still hadn't moved his hand. "No idea, but I totally belong." Speaking of feelings, that sense of urgency inside was growing. I was beginning to feel like a 5-year-old on a sugar high being forced to sit still. "Teen genius here," I informed him as I tried to push his arm away. It was like pressing against a long-sleeved iron bar. "We dress casual but are well worth our weight in gold, and you're about to make me late. Kid, whatever this is, it isn't going to work. You need to leave." "No, I can't," I insisted. "I have a pressing appointment." My eyes roamed the length and breadth of the atrium as I tried to formulate a plan to get around this uniformed roadblock. From where I stood in the lobby, I could see from one end of the building to the other and up to the third level. A pair of escalators on either end provided transport to the second and third floors. Then there was a bank of elevators to my right, currently being used by the lip-curling businessman. An overhead display showed the floors they were on, as well as their current destinations. Near them was a long receptionist desk behind which a pretty woman in business attire sat with her chin propped on one hand and a phone pressed to her ear with the other. An actual landline phone. They still use those? I thought. To my left, I found a wood-paneled door with a window next to a sign reading, "Basement levels, authorized personnel only," and showing the universal depiction of a staircase. To my right was another door to a stairwell, this one without the restricted access warning. Across the way, on the far side of the atrium, was a second entrance with another security guard and another open lobby area. The guard was younger and female and standing beside another metal detector. I wasn't sure how I had missed that entrance, since it couldn't have been more than 20 feet from where I'd crossed the street. A couple of lounge areas, some plants and small trees and stone planters, and a coffee and bagel kiosk that apparently wasn't up to the briefcase gentleman's standards helped fill out the rest of the first floor. The decor consisted of a lot of blacks with gold accents, wood trimmings, and a few splashes of white and subdued colors to brighten the place. The ceiling was more than 3 stories high, and from where I stood, not much seemed to be going on yet. Only a few people were currently using the walkways overhead. As far as bright ideas go, I was striking out, until I happened to look at the security guard's hand again, or rather his wrist. My eyes widened. This seemed providential. The security guard had on a bracelet made of woven strips of dyed leather. It took me a second to recognize the color scheme because I had never seen the wordless book done quite that way. But the colors were all there: black, red, white, yellow, and green. I tapped the bracelet to draw the man's attention before saying, "I hope this means you can believe in things that exist beyond our 5 senses, because I need you to believe something that seems strange. Unless you let me go, something bad is going to happen." Oh, look, he made an expression. I think I cured his boredom, I thought, or possibly muttered. Sometimes my brain-to-mouth filter didn't work so well. His frown deepened before he said, "Young man, I'm not just a security guard. I'm also a minister. My daughter made that for me, and it's a symbol of our faith. Please don't play games with it or me. It's not right." I know what it means. What it stands for means plenty to me, too. See, look. Touching the colors and speaking quickly, I said, "Our sin, our guilt, is black, but Jesus' death on the cross, his red blood, makes us innocent, or white, through faith, so we can go to heaven. Gold. But until then, we need to grow to be more like him, green. I'm sorry for not getting off on the right foot here, but people rarely believe the whole 'I know something bad is about to happen' line." He hesitated, but his frown became less disapproving and more contemplative. "This is no game," I promised. I wrapped the earbuds cord around my phone before stuffing them into my back pocket. "Come with me if you don't believe me, but I really do need to go. Time could be running out." He didn't respond. I could see I was making progress, but it wasn't enough. Not yet. Frustrated, I asked him, "Did you hear about the construction accident yesterday? It happened only 3 blocks from here." Tentatively, he nodded. "I'm here for the same reason I was there yesterday, in time to see the building collapse. I helped pull people out that were trapped inside." He bit his lip. "Please, believe me," I pleaded. The security guard silently regarded me. Time dragged on forever before he finally sighed. "Do you know the girl that came through here a few minutes ago?" he finally asked. "She didn't look quite right, and I'm not sure how she even got in. She didn't come through the main doors. I saw her moving along beside Mrs. Hershey and didn't stop her, figuring she was her daughter. As he spoke, trouble started jumping up and down in my mind's eye, waving and pointing. Do you know where they went? What floor? I asked. Then, without waiting, I quickly sidestepped the security guard's arm and ran for the elevator. Miraculously, he let me go. Rather than yell at me to come back, the guard followed. He didn't answer me directly as he jogged, but spoke into a two-way radio clipped to his shoulder. Brooke, I have to check something out on the 4th floor. Keep an eye on my entrance while I'm gone. The guard by the far entrance waved her hand in acknowledgement. Brooke, I presumed. I reached the elevator bank and slapped the call button. 2 of the elevators were already moving in the wrong direction, and of the other 2, only one responded. The lights on the display ticked off the floors. 39, 38, 37. Next time, I chided myself, take the stairs. When Mrs. Hershey got on the elevator with the girl, they stopped at 2 floors, the security guard said after catching up. I'm guessing one was Mrs. Hershey's usual floor, I responded. 4 was the other? He nodded. I'm Joe Grant, by the way. I held out my hand. Harrison. He shook my hand, but when I went to let go, he hung on. After we check things out, you and I are going to have a chat. The nature and friendliness of the conversation will depend on the way things go. This better not be a game. I don't like being taken for a fool much more than I like people making sport of what I believe. I don't know what's up there, but this is real, you'll see. Is Harrison your first name or last? My first name is Sir or Mr. It's what? Oh, I get it. The elevator dinged a second prior to the doors opening. After we got on, I hit the 4th floor button, then repeatedly tapped the one to close the doors. Don't let my bright and shiny demeanor fool you, I said as we started to ascend. I was bouncing a little on my toes and could feel myself grinning like an idiot as I watched the luminous blue numbers change. Perhaps my brother was a little more right than I cared to admit when he accused me of being a tad off my rocker. Things can get pretty crazy in a hurry. Be ready for anything. Harrison's hand gripped my shoulder momentarily, forcing me to look back at him. If something really is going on up there, you let me handle it, son. You stay back. I didn't respond. If I did, I might have told him to stay back. But, like most sirs or misters, he wouldn't have taken orders from a kid like me. The elevator doors opened. We both looked out. His hand fell from my shoulder. I couldn't help it. I had to say it. Told you so. Stay tuned for Chapter 2 of Unbroken. This novel is available currently only at Amazon in hardcover, paperback, and on Kindle. Thank you for stopping by and listening to Chapter 1. I'll catch you next time.